जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन बल्लवा गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवर यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरा बनचारी यमुना तीरा जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी जय जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन बल्लवा गिरिवरधारी जय
गोपी जन बल्लवा गिरिवरधारी
यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरा बनचारी यमुना तीरा जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी जय जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य स्तोत्र सत्री श्रृंखला भक्ति वेदांत गोस्वामी महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य स्तोत्र सत्री श्रृंखला भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर महाराज प्रभुपाद की जय। इस्कान बीवीटी संस्थापक आचार्य कृष्ण कृपा में श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णविंद की जय। नामाचार्य श्रील हरदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तविंद की जय। श्री श्री गौर राधा कृष्ण गो गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। श्री श्री वृंदावन मथुरा धाम की जय। श्री श्री नवदीप द्वारका धाम की जय। श्री धाम मायापुर धाम की जय। श्री श्री यमुना मई गंगमयी की जय। श्री श्री तुलसी देवी भक्ति देवी की जय। श्री श्री सामवेद भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री युग धर्म हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। संकीर्तन यज्ञ की जय। Our loving spiritual master, divine grace, most merciful savior of the whole world, by spreading Sanatan Dharma all over the world. Patit Pavan Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Patit Pavan Srila Prabhupada Transcendental Book Distribution ki jai. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवत महापुराण की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदी, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदी। All glories to Sambal Devotee. All glories to Sambal Devotee. All glories to Shri Guru and Gaurang. All glories to Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Om Ajnanatimrandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jutapada Kamalam Shri Guram Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajata Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajiv Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishaka Vitam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Shri Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishavanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripri Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhu vaivacha patita nama pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiriyet. Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevya Bhagavati Uttam Shaloke Bhaktir Bhakti Neshtaki. Before reciting this Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, I offer my respectful obeisances unto the personality of God and Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supremest human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author, unto Srila Shukadev Goswami Maharaj, a great reciter, and unto Srila Prabhupada, our loving spiritual master. So, everybody is welcome to the morning Bhagavatam program, Bhagavatam Katha. So, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, I am taking Canto 5 and Chapter 5 of Srimad Bhagavatam. This chapter is Lord Rishabh's teachings. And shloka is the number one shloka. Rishabho vacha nayam dega dega bhajam narloke kashtana kamana kharate vidbhujamaje tapo divyam putra kayena sattvam shuddhaye samad brahma saukyam tavantam. Translation. Lord Rishabhdev told his sons, "My dear boys, of all the living entities who have accepted material bodies in this world, one who has been avoided this human form should not work hard day and night, simply for sense gratification, which is available for dogs and hogs that eat stools. One should engage in penance and austerity to attain the divine position of devotional service. By such activity, one's heart is purified, and when one attains this position, he attains eternal blissful life, which is transcendental to material happiness and which continues forever." So, purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. In this verse, Lord Rishabhdev tells his sons about the importance of human life. The word Deha Bhak refers to anyone who accepts a material body. But the living entity who is awarded the human form must act differently from animals. So devotees here, Srila Prabhupada is saying, the Lord Rishabhdev, who is an incarnation of Godhead, Lord comes on this earth to reclaim us, to take us back home, back to Godhead. So he's saying that about the importance of human life. This human life is very, very important, very important. The word Dehavak refers to anyone who accepts a material body. But the living entity who is awarded the human form must act differently from animals. This is very, very important point Srila Prabhupada is mentioning. Animals, they do four things. They are busy in eating, and when they get tired, they sleep, and they're busy in mating and in defending. If a human being is also like this, but animals, they follow the rules and regulations. But in a human body, which is awarded to us by the Supreme Lord, not for sense enjoyment. This is very, very important. This human body is awarded to us for self-realization. Animals, they are busy in this fourth thing, eating, sleeping, mating and defending. Then Prabhupada is saying animals like dogs and hogs enjoy sense gratification by eating stool. After undergoing severe hardships, all day human beings are trying to enjoy themselves at night by eating, drinking, having sex and sleeping. At the same time, they have to properly defend themselves. However, this is not human civilization. So very clearly Srila Prabhupada is saying, if a human being is busy in eating, sleeping, mating and defending, then this is not human civilization. This is animal civilization. Animals are busy in these four things only. But they follow certain rules and regulations. One thing I have seen, if a animal, they fell sick, they won't eat. They won't eat anything. But if we are sick, we will eat double. So then, what we are doing? Where we are going? Those look like little hard because we are too much engrossed in sense enjoyment. And if somebody tells to stop this sense enjoyment, they say, oh no, it's very typical. And we don't understand, we don't know. If I won't control my these senses, then how much difficulty is waiting for me in the future? We don't know this. That difficulty. After getting this human form of life, and one is busy in eating, sleeping, mating and defending, and then what will happen to him? He will be severely punished by the Yamdutas, the superintendent of death. He has his followers, they call Yamdutas, his doots. There are Vishnu doots also. Lord Vishnu is Krishna, Vishnu, Krishna same. Krishna has so many expansions. Vishnu doot, when somebody is a devotee, is surrendered unto the lotus feet of Sri Krishna, he stops sense gratification, and then when the end of life comes of such person, then no Yamdutas, Vishnu Dutas will come to take him back home, back to Godhead. But our actions are such, we are only inviting Yamdutas. Materialistic way of life means inviting Yamdutas. So this we have to understand. Very, very important. Very, very important to understand. And for little flickering happiness, we forget that I will be punished severely by the Yamadutas if I won't become detached from this miserable material world. This material world is miserable. It's not a good place. It's not a place for a gentleman to live. And we are put into this situation because we wanted to enjoy independent of Krishna. Independent of Krishna, we can't enjoy. It's not possible. We are Krishna's part and parcel. He is the whole. And we are children of Krishna. We must obey Krishna and we must serve Him. We must please Him. We are His children. We are not from this material world. But because we wanted to enjoy independent of Krishna, that's why we were sent to this miserable material world. And there are so many problems, so many difficulties are there. Not one to so many problems. But the real problem is to get out of here and go attain our real position. Our real position is that I am Krishna's part and parcel. Aham Brahmasmi. I am Brahma and part and parcel of Supreme Brahma Sri Krishna. I am not this body. So, people are busy in four things. At the same time, they have to properly defend themselves. We have to defend also. eating, sleeping, mating and defending. However, this is not human civilization. If we are busy in four things, Prabhupada is saying this is not human civilization. Then, human life means voluntarily practicing suffering, voluntarily, for the advancement of spiritual life. Voluntarily, we should accept sufferings. We don't want to suffer, but for the sake of spiritual advancement, we should voluntarily accept suffering. Nobody likes to suffer. There is one, Prabhupada has mentioned one, that one of Prabhupada's god brother was in London. Bhaktisnath Maharaj sent his devotee all over to preach. There was a Lord Jetland, something like this. So he approached Prabhupada's god brother. Can you make me Brahmin? He said, yes. Now what I have to do? So you have to follow four regulatory principles. No meat, fish, eggs, onion, garlic. Then no alcohol, no intoxication, including tea and coffee. Third, when he said no sex life, then he said, I can't do this. So this is the great problem with all of us. And this is the bondage for all of us. We should understand this. Before it gets too late, we should understand. Bondage is this attraction for a man and a woman with each other. No. And this is all, on the bodily platform, and as generally by Prabhupada's mercy we say, that a spiritual life begins from here. I am not this body. I am soul. So soul is in this body, human body, which I have just said is very rare to achieve this human body. So now my business is to elevate that soul. Now my soul is identifying with this body. But I am not this body. As it's mentioned that this body has 6 major changes. Take birth, grow, stay stationary, and then produce children, byproducts, and then dwindle, then die. 6 changes. So, in the Bhagavatam, Prahlad Maharaj has also mentioned this, that one should take to this life from the age of 5, Kaumar. Why he has said this? Because when a child can be molded in any way, in whichever way we like. And the real way is the devotee he becomes the devotee in our civilization in India. Children used to be sent to the Gurukuls. They will go to the Gurukul and study under the spiritual master. And selflessly, spiritual master will give them the education. And he will give the real education. What is the real education? The real education is, you are not this body, don't be after body enjoyment. No manoranjan. Never try to please your mind. But what to do then? Krishna Ranjan. Try to please Krishna. If you try to please Krishna, automatically you will be pleased. Because Krishna is the cause of all causes. He is the source of everything. Prabhupada gives the example. There are different limbs of the body. Eyes. ears, nostril, hand, we have 9 holes in this body. So they all cooperate, hands, eyes, ears, tongue, they all cooperate together and put the food in the mouth. And then when food goes inside, all the limbs of the body are nourished. If a hand goes on strike, why we should put food in the mouth? Then what will happen? Then they will also become weak. Hand will also become weak and they won't be able to act properly. So, example is this, if we try to please Krishna, we will be automatically pleased. And if sometime we think, it's very difficult to please Krishna, I can't do this, then devotees. If Krishna is not pleased, then no question that we can be pleased. No. We will be suffering without pleasing Krishna. So that's why it's mentioned, Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruttate. Lord Sri Krishna is the master of the senses. And if we engage our senses in the service of master of the senses, our senses will be automatically pleased. So similarly, we have to try our level best for our bright future. Otherwise, future is in dark. Future is in dark. Future is not bright. Future can only become bright when we please Krishna. So here, further Srila Prabhupada is saying, human life means voluntarily practicing suffering for the advancement of spiritual life. To make advancement in spiritual life, voluntarily we should accept suffering. Get up early in the morning before 4, take bath, and practice austerity, think of Krishna, follow the regulatory principles. This is, we are accepting voluntarily suffering. When we accept suffering, then what will happen? Purification will take place. We will purify it gradually. Not very quick, but gradually we will be purified. Prabhupada has mentioned that it's a gradual process. Sometimes we want to see the immediate result. One man came in our contact in Delhi. So we requested him to please chant Hare Krishna. He started chanting. So once I came from abroad and he came to see me at the airport in Delhi. You may be chanting for 1 year or less or more. So what he was asking me, I didn't see Krishna. Krishna didn't appear before me. See, people think so cheap, For 1 year he's chanting, no, he wants to see Krishna. We can see Krishna. We have to be qualified. We have to free ourselves from material desires. And the purpose of life is only to see Krishna. We don't have any other purpose here. What other purpose I have thought, they're all the creation of my filthy mind, my unclean mind. Only one purpose, to become devotee of Krishna, come to the shelter of Krishna and do everything for his pleasure. Not otherwise, not for anyone else's pleasure. So here, further, it is mentioned that austerity and penances in order to attain the divine life. Divine life is the life of Krishna consciousness. To attain the divine life. Without divine life, life is hopeless. After attaining the divine life, one can enjoy happiness eternally. The life of Krishna consciousness is not temporary like the material life. The life of Krishna consciousness is eternal. It's forever. It's forever the life of Krishna consciousness. So, by performing austerity, by becoming austere, purifying our existence, then only we can attain that life, eternal life, which is full of knowledge, eternal and blissful. Not if somebody is busy in sense enjoyment, eating, sleeping. I had one devotee was from a very rich family in Delhi. And he was inspired, he wanted to take initiation. But I have noticed that out of 24 hours, he will sleep 25 hours. And he liked to sleep. What is this nonsense? Practically couldn't come to the standard. I said, if you're a rich man, that doesn't mean that you can be initiated. He never got the initiation. And left his body. At a young age, he left his body. So, people don't understand their consciousness becomes so polluted that they cannot think properly. And they, waste their time. So devotees, brothers and mothers, we should not waste our life in sense gratification. It's a waste. Whenever we come to our senses, then we should understand and try for the real life, the life of Krishna consciousness. So, further, Srila Prabhupada is saying, after all, every living entity is trying to enjoy happiness. Everybody wants happiness. Even animals. But as long as one is engaged in the material body, he has to suffer different kinds of miseries. They are different kinds of miseries as long as we are in this material body. This is what Prabhupada is saying. The enjoying happiness, but as long as one is engaged in the material body, he has to suffer different kinds of miseries. A higher sense is present in the human form. We should act according to superior advice in order to attain eternal happiness and go back to Godhead. This is the advice of Srila Prabhupada. He is saying a higher sense is present in the human form. Higher sense is present in the human form. In the eternal kind of misery, a higher sense is present in the human form. We should act according to superior advice. And superior advice, I usually say Srila Prabhupada. Why Prabhupada? Because things are judged by the result. Phalena parichite. See what he has done and what is the result. Only this is by his mercy that we are having a chance to become Krishna conscious. And one devotee wrote one song, and there is one song by Srila Vasu Ghosh Thakur. He was a great Vaishnava. He mentioned, Yadi Gaura na haito tabe ki hato, kemana dharitam de. If Lord Gaura hasn't appeared, then what could have happened to us? Then what was the meaning of this body? Because Gaura gave us the highest understanding. He gave us this devotion, bhakti to Krishna. Because we all belong to Krishna. Right now we are separated from Him. Lord Gaura gave us this beautiful life of Krishna consciousness. We should act according to superior advice in order to attain eternal happiness. We want happiness, but there is no happiness here. Eternal happiness is only when we, by the way of devotional service, by the way of bhakti, we attach ourselves with Krishna. And this is the only way, as Krishna has mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita, Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan jasyasmi tatvata tato mam tatvato yatva abhishati tadanantaram. I can be known as I am only by devotional service, by bhakti. No, not by any other mean. But people, they concoct their own mean. I think like this, I think like that, perhaps maybe. But who are you to think like this and like that? What is your credential? What is your credential? Zero. We don't know anything. So, but still because of false ego, we propound so many, paths and glide down towards the lower condition of life. So, it is mentioned here, superior advice in order to attain eternal happiness. Superior advice, Krishna. Pure devotee, Srila Prabhupada. And see his hard work. He left so many books like Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Chaitanya Charitamrita. Actually, when one understands that my business is only to please Krishna, and I am Krishna's part and parcel, then when he understood, he should better concentrate on purification process. And purification is by chanting. Chanting. Lord Chaitanya, he is so kind in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. It is mentioned, Uthite, Vasite, Khaite, Shuite. Yatha Tatha Naam Le. Haribol, give me that small one. By standing, sitting, walking, sleeping, just chant Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Yatha Tatha Naam Le. Just chant Hare Krishna. It's not that you should not chant here, you can chant there, you can chant here, you cannot chant. No. But this is a special, facility given to the people of Kali Yuga by the Lord. But I am so unfortunate that I am busy in so many things of this material world. I have no interest. And I am wasting my time in the materialistic way of life. Over time, Prabhupada was talking one place, he said that if one lives for 100 years, by spending millions of dollars, you cannot get a movement back. By spending millions of dollars, you cannot add a movement into it. If time is money, then one can understand how much money he has wasted. We are wasting so much time. So, advice, this Prabhupada has mentioned that superior advice, the Prabhupada is a superior devotee. So whatever he has advised, we should follow that. Follow his advice and gradually progress on this path of devotion. By Prabhupada's mercy, I mentioned one thing, that in the material world, we are all progressing towards the end of our life without doing anything. Is that right?
Yes, Maharaj.
End is approaching. Like yesterday has died from my life, I will come one day more close to the death.
Yeah.
Without doing anything. But Prabhupada advised that for spiritual life, we must endeavor, we must work hard. I must become spiritually, fit, so that at the time of departing from this material world, I can remember Krishna. This is the advice. So, it is significant. What is significant? In this verse that government and the natural guardian, the father, should educate subordinates and raise them to Krishna consciousness. Raise them to Krishna consciousness. Devoid of Krishna consciousness, every living being suffers in this cycle of birth and death. One who is not Krishna conscious, he has to suffer the cycle of birth and death. And devotees, the cycle of birth and death is very troublesome. It's not palatable. It's not good. Dying horrible, coming in the womb of our mother again, horrible. So Prabhupada is advising here that every living being suffers in this cycle of birth and death perpetually. To relieve them from the bondage and enable them to become blissful and happy, Bhakti Yoga should be taught. Like Prabhupada taught us the Bhakti Yoga. Yoga means to connect ourselves with Krishna. Bhakti means service to Krishna. This word Bhakti cannot be used with anybody else, only with Krishna. Should be taught, a foolish civilization neglects to teach people how to rise to the platform of bhakti. This is the present situation. Prabhupada is saying that to relieve them from this bondage and enable them to become blissful and happy, Bhakti Yoga should be taught. A foolish civilization neglects to teach people how to rise to the platform of Bhakti Yoga. it's unfortunate for India. There was one Prime Minister. His name was Rajiv. Once I happened to pick up a paper somewhere in India, I think it's on the front page, if I'm not wrong. There was the advertisement. What was the advertisement? Sunday ho ya Monday, खूब खाओ अंडे. Then I said that he forgot to mention, he should have written further, और तेरे सर पर पड़ेंगे यमदूतों के डंडे. Then you see, people don't understand it. He's a leader. Unfortunately, these people, for material enjoyment, they took this post, cheated people. India is a very special country, and all the Indians are very special. But after independence, we got such leaders, they were totally fallen, totally very, very low class. Without Krishna consciousness, a person is no better than a hog or dog. Very clearly Prabhupada is saying, is no better than a hog and dog. The instructions of Rishabdev are very essential at the present moment. Very essential instructions of Lord Rishabdev. Because people are not following this. They should be following this. The instructions of Rishabdev are very essential at the present moment. People are being educated and attain to work very hard for sense gratification. And there is no sublime aim in life. Sublime aim is to attain this position of bhakti. This is very, very sublime. This is very, very wonderful for the soul. Otherwise, no way soul can be satisfied in this body. No way. Soul cannot be satisfied by making so many material arrangements. Then further it is mentioned and there is no sublime aim in life. A man travels to earn his livelihood, leaving home early in the morning. Early in the morning he leaves home. This very, common in this country. Leave early in the morning, catching a local train and being packed in a compartment. He has to stand for an hour or two in order to reach the place of business. Then again takes a bus to get to the office. At the office, he works hard from 9 to 5. Then it takes 2 or 3 hours to return home. After eating, he has sex and goes to sleep. For all this hardship, his only happiness is a little sex. Yan metunadi graham sukham hitucham. He's saying Lord Rishabdev. Rishabdev clearly states that human life is not meant for this kind of existence. No, human life is not meant for this kind of existence. Then, which is enjoyed even by dogs and hogs, those who eat stool. And these dogs and hogs do not have to work hard for sex. They don't have to work hard for sex life. Hogs and dogs. We have to work very hard. What kind of life is this? Human being should try to live in a different way and should not try to imitate dogs and hogs. The alternative is mentioned. Human life is meant for tapasya, austerity and penance. By tapasya, one can get out of the matter, one can get out of the material happiness. Tapasya will purify us. Tapo divyam putrakayena satyam. Animals cannot perform tapasya. They cannot perform austerity and penance. Only in human form we can do this. So we should do this. We should follow the life of tapasya. And if everybody is after enjoyment, then Krishna won't like to maintain this planet. He will destroy. Whole planet will be destroyed. But if even one devotee is there, whole planet, Prabhupada has mentioned this, it is next to impossible that the whole world can become devotee. Even if few people become devotee, then the world can be saved. Otherwise, I see so many happenings are there and people are dying horribly, Eternal, out of the material clutches. When one is attained in, one is situated in Krishna consciousness, devotion service, his happiness is granted eternally. By taking to bhakti yoga, devotional service, one's existence is purified. By living, entity is seeking happiness, life after life, but he can make a solution to all his problems simply by practicing bhakti yoga. Though Krishna has mentioned different kind of yogas in the Bhagavad Gita. Jnana yoga, dhyana yoga, raj yoga, hatha yoga, sankha yoga, many yogas. But he is saying, I can be known as I am only by bhakti yoga, not by any other yoga, only by bhakti yoga. So bhakti yoga means devotion service with love and devotion to Sri Krishna. Then he immediately becomes eligible to return home back to Godhead as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Lord has confirmed this in Bhagavad Gita. What he has said? He said, Janma karma chame divyam evam yobeti tatvata tyaktva deham punarjanam naiti Mameti so Arjuna. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not upon having and does not upon leaving the body take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode, O Arjun. So this is the purpose of life, devotees, to eternal, to go to our real home, back to Godhead, eternal abode, by becoming devotee of Krishna, by accepting this path of devotion. Thank you very much. You have to go by 8 o'clock. Huh?
Please continue, Maharaj.
Acha, you change?
Yeah, I cancel. Make some arrangement.
Very good, very good. so devotees, like I say repeatedly, Prabhupada is a mercy of Krishna for the people of Kali Yuga, you know. Prabhupada has given us this life of Krishna consciousness, and we should work very hard to attain this life of Krishna consciousness. No slackness, no slackness. Slackness should be not there, you know. Must be not there. We should be serious students, trying hard, and Krishna is sitting in our heart, and He is guiding us. How He will guide? It's mentioned in Bhagavad Gita by the Lord. Tesham satatam yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam. If one worship me with love and devotion, priti purvak, then what I do? Dadami buddhi yogam tam tena mamupayanti te. Then I give him the buddhi yoga. I give him the intelligence. That's how he can come to me. So devotion service is very, very important. We should all try to be a devotee and try to please Krishna. And then Krishna's part, Krishna will definitely award us eternal and peaceful life. The life which is free from all kind of miseries. This is the purpose of life. And a pure devotee, Srila Prabhupada is guiding us. There should not be any imitation. Imitation doesn't work, you know. If we follow the footsteps of pure devotee, and by the mercy of pure devotee, we will make advancement. We will make advancement. And in the Bhagavatam it is also mentioned, Sabe pumsam paro dharmo yato bhaktir adhokshaje ahitu ki apratihata yayatma suprasidati. Devotional service to the Supreme Lord should be unmotivated, no motivation. And this is the duty of everyone, to serve Krishna. This is the once in nobody called business is to serve Krishna. Sabe pums, all the jivas. It is also in the Bhagavata. And that devotional service should be high to give without any expecting any result. No. Just to please Krishna. Such kind of devotional service will yield us the result. And then we will become Krishna conscious. And then we can attain the eternal life. The life in this material world is miserable. Doesn't matter whether you are in a place, you are staying in a very rich place, still you cannot avoid birth, death, old age and disease. These people here in this Western world, they, enjoying, whole life enjoying. But now towards the end of their life they become so old, no more enjoyment. They can't. They try, but they can't enjoy. So we should become serious in cultivating Krishna consciousness and help others also to become serious. And this way Krishna will be very pleased with us. Like Krishna has mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita, या इदम परमम गुह्यम मद भक्तेश विदास्यति भक्तिमयी पराम कृत्वा मामे वेशति संशया. One who preach the science of Krishna consciousness to others, then he will be given devotion, bhakti. Bhakti can only come by preaching, by spreading the word around, and in the end of his life he will come to me. Krishna is saying, devotee is the preacher. Then the next verse is saying in the 18th chapter, नाचा तस्माद मनुष्येषु कश्चिन में प्रिय कृतमा भविता नाचात भूया अन्य प्रिया तरो भुवि. One who is a devotee, one who is preaching, there is nobody more dear to me. He is very dear to me. So Srila Prabhupada was very, very dear to Krishna. So to become dear devotee of Krishna, we should become ourselves Krishna conscious and simultaneously preach how to tell others. This is the wonderful life. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna Krishna.
Krishna Krishna.
Hare Hare.
Hare Hare.
Hare Ram.
Hare Ram.
Hare Ram.
Hare Ram.
Ram Ram.
Ram Ram.
Hare Hare.
Hare Hare.
Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. बोलो गौर निताय पंच तत्व की जय. बोलो कृष्ण बलराम भगवान की जय. हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण. Any question, comments anybody has?
जी महाराज जी, तो हिंदी बोलूं कि इंग्लिश बोलूं?
हिंदी बोलो.
जी, तो आपने महाराज जी 2-3 सेशन में दो चीज पे बहुत ज्यादा जोर दिया महाराज जी, जो हमारे लिए बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है. पहला आपने बहुत जोर दिया कि जो सेंस ग्रेटिफिकेशन है ना, सेंस कंट्रोल, और दूसरा मटेरियल चीजों पे जो हमारा फोकस है. बहुत मैं सुनते सुनते मेरे दिमाग में यही बात आया कि देखिए महाराज जी कैसे वो दो चीज को ज्यादा एम्फसाइज कर रहे हैं.
एक मिनट, प्रभुपाद ने हमें ये एम्फसाइज किया तो हमने आगे आपको देना है. ये एम्फसाइज ऑन दिस वेरी मच. यू नो, उनकी एसोसिएशन में रहे तो यही सिखाते रहे वो हमको. तो हमें जो सीखना है वो अपने तक नहीं रखना है ना, क्योंकि हम सभी एक भगवान के बच्चे हैं. वी आर चिल्ड्रन ऑफ वन फादर कृष्णा. तो वही हमने आपस में बांटना है और आगे बढ़ना है. बोलिए.
जी, तो दोनों चीज हम लोग के लिए बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है महाराज जी. सो हम लोग एटलीस्ट आई विल ट्राई टू फॉलो योर इंस्ट्रक्शन.
वंडरफुल वंडरफुल. और देखो प्रभुपाद जी ने तो बहुत कुछ दिया मानव समाज को. एक जो जाति पाति है ना, ये हमारे शास्त्र में कहीं नहीं है. ये जो मूर्खों ने इसको फैला दिया. पर ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ भागवत गीता, ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ भागवत, एक श्लोक महाप्रभु ने कहा, किवे विप्रा किवे न्यासी शूद्र के ने नाया जय कृष्ण तत्व वेता से ही गुरु आया. ब्राह्मण क्या, सन्यासी क्या, या शूद्र क्या, या नाई क्या, जो कृष्ण के तत्व को जानता है वो पूजनीय है, वो गुरु है. चाहे वो कोई भी, पर जानने वाला होना चाहिए, ढोंग नहीं होना चाहिए. अगर ढोंग होगा तो वो काम नहीं करेगा. कलयुग में इमिटेशन बड़ी है. नॉट इमिटेशन कैन हेल्प अस. हमें वास्तव में ये करने का प्रयास करना है. क्या कहते हैं राम जी आप?
जी जी. तो दूसरा बात कि कभी कभी हम लोग जब फिलोसफी का बात चलता है तो ज्यादा ऊपर का बात करना पसंद करते हैं, नीचे का बात भूल जाते हैं. तो ये जो आप 3-4 क्लास में आपके साथ था, हमारे सामने एक आईना की तरह ये बात सामने आया कि बेसिक चीज पे जोर देना जरूरी है.
अगर इस पे जोर देंगे हम तो हम आगे बढ़ेंगे. अगर ये चीज नेग्लेक्ट कर दी हमने तो फिर स्टैग्नेंट हो जाएंगे, आगे नहीं बढ़ेंगे. और प्रभुपाद मैंने देखा कि इतना कंसर्न थे सबके लिए, आई कांट टेल यू। सब मतलब हम सब के लिए उनको चिंता है, बिकॉज ही इज डिवोटी ऑफ वेरी हाई स्टेचर। भक्त जो हैं अपना नहीं सोचते, दूसरों का सोचते हैं। हम तो अपना सोचते हैं ना, लेकिन प्रभुपाद सबका सोचते थे, पूरे वर्ल्ड का सोचते थे वो। बोलिए रामाचार्य जी।
जी महाराज जी, तो एक सवाल ये है कि आपने क्लास में चर्चा किया कि भगवान की सेवा करना चाहिए, उसमें दूसरा कोई भाव नहीं होना चाहिए। तो क्या होता है कि हम लोग को सर्विस है यहाँ पे करने का, और कभी कभी सर्विस करने में बहुत लोग ऐसे समझते हैं कि आदमी अपने आप को ऊपर प्रमोट कर रहा है, जैसे लोगों के बीच में बोलना, चाहे अच्छा व्यवस्था करना जिससे भगवान का प्रोग्राम अच्छा से हो जाए। तो कभी कभी मन में आता है कि सब कुछ छोड़ के अपना शांत से आदमी रहे, तो फिर आता है कि अगर शांत से रहेंगे तो फिर कौन करेगा। तो इस तरह का महाराज जी द्वंद कभी कभी आता है कि ठीक है, सब कुछ छोड़ के आराम से अपना भगवान का नाम जपते हैं, अपना भक्ति पे जोर देते हैं। कभी कभी लगता है कि नहीं, ये जरूरी है, जैसा आपने कहा कि जो भगवान के लिए करते हैं भगवान का वो बहुत प्रिय होते हैं। तो इस तरह का बात को सुनने के बाद लगता है कि जितना दुख हो रहा है शरीर को, जितना दुख हो रहा है समाज में, सोसाइटी में, दुख को सहो, लेकिन भगवान का प्रचार प्रसार में लगे रहो। तो इसको किस तरह से बैलेंस किया जाए। कभी कभी हमको दुख हो जाता है कि लोग ये नहीं समझे कि देखो ये कर रहा है, अपने नाम के लिए कर रहा है।
देखो सुनो, इसका उत्तर प्रभुपाद जी ने दिया है। मतलब आप इस भावना से कर रहे हैं जो आपने बताया, ये बहुत अच्छी भावना है। दूसरा नहीं समझ रहा, वो क्यों नहीं समझ रहा? प्रभुपाद कहते हैं आत्मा नाम मन्यते जगत। आदमी दूसरे को अपनी तरह समझता है, उसके अंदर वो कुभाव है, अच्छा भाव नहीं है, वो आपके भाव को भी अपनी नजर से देख रहा है। बात ध्यान में आया नहीं है? नहीं समझी मेरी बात? समझिए ना, वो आपके भाव को भी अपने भाव से देख रहा है, पर आपका भाव तो डिफरेंट है। अभी जैसे प्रभुपाद जी को कितने लोगों ने क्रिटिसाइज किया, उनके गुरु भाइयों ने क्रिटिसाइज किया उनको। क्यों किया उनको क्रिटिसाइज? क्योंकि they were failure to spread Krishna consciousness around, and by the mercy of Prabhupada, his Gurudev, Bhaktivinoda Maharaj Prabhupada, and Gaur Nitai Radharani, Bhagavan Krishna's mercy, Prabhupada was very successful, but Prabhupada didn't care for them. ऐसे लोग जो ऐसा माने, हमें उसकी चिंता नहीं करनी चाहिए, वो हैं ही ऐसे। What more you can expect from them? आदमी वैसे एक्ट करेगा जैसे वो है या नहीं, उससे बेटर थोड़ा कर सकता है। पर हमें अपने पाथ में आगे बढ़ते जाना है।
अब जो क्लास कॉल दिए हैं, बहुत बढ़िया पॉइंट एक बोले, ये हमको भय क्यों लगता है, फियर में कल नहीं पूछ पाया क्योंकि बहुत लोग थे। जो आपने बढ़िया बात बोला कि ये हमारा जो वर्ल्डली कंसेप्शन, बिकॉज ऑफ वर्ल्डली कंसेप्शन वी गेट फियर। तो उसको थोड़ा डिस्कस कीजिए, हम थोड़ा ज्यादा हमको।
ये जो वर्ल्डली कंसेप्ट है ये भक्ति से जाएगा। जब आप ये सोचोगे बार बार मैं ये शरीर नहीं हूँ, मैं तो जीवात्मा हूँ और मेरा काम परमात्मा श्री कृष्ण की सेवा करना है, तो धीरे धीरे आप बॉडी कंसेप्ट से ऊपर उठेंगे। पर अगर जीवन में अगर एक आदमी बिजी है सेंस एंजॉयमेंट में, और देखो कि चाणक्य पंडित जी ने क्या कहा, प्रभुपाद ने बड़ी जगह चाणक्य जी को कोट किया है। आपके बिहार के थे ना चाणक्य जी महाराज, चाणक्य पंडित बिहार के थे नहीं?
बिहार के यूपी के थे,
मिथिला
थे।
हाँ, और ये बिहार से बड़े महान आत्मा थे वो। तो उन्होंने क्या कहा कि मातृभर परदारेशु, दूसरी की स्त्री को मां की तरह समझना। जब ये भावना हमारे अंदर नहीं है तो फिर हमारी इंटेलिजेंस जो है लॉस्ट है। मातृभर परदारेशु पर द्रव्येशु लोस्तवत, दूसरे के धन को मिट्टी के समान। हमारी नजर रहती है ना दूसरे के धन पर, मिट्टी के समान। पर द्रव्येशु लोस्तवत आत्मवत सर्वभूतेषु, दूसरे को अपनी तरह समझना, ये कैसे? और जैसे मुझे कोई गाली दे तो अच्छी लगती है, मेरे को लगेगा अच्छी, तो मैं दूसरे को क्यों गाली दूं? जो मुझे अच्छा नहीं लगता दूसरे को मैं क्यों कहूं? तो वो चाणक्य जी महाराज कहते हैं, सा पश्यति सा पंडित, वो पंडित है वास्तव में जो दूसरे की स्त्री को माता की नजर से देखता है, दूसरे के धन को मिट्टी के समान देखता है, और दूसरों को अपनी तरह देखता है। मुझे जो अच्छा नहीं लगता मैं दूसरों के साथ क्यों ऐसा करूं? वही पंडित है, वही ब्राह्मण है। तो कर्म से कोई भी बन सकता है, जन्म की कोई बात नहीं है। जन्म का कुछ प्रभाव होता है, पर भक्ति को अपनाने से जन्म का प्रभाव चला जाता है। भक्ति माता इतनी पावरफुल है। अब जैसे शबरी माता का जन्म तो एक शूद्र से भी नीचे का जन्म था ना, लेकिन भक्ति अपनाई उसने। भक्ति से वो तो इतनी पूजनीय हो गई शबरी माता कि राम जी उसके जूठे पैर खा रहे हैं। तो भक्ति के प्रभाव से, कृष्ण की कृपा से हमारे दोष जाएंगे। समझा नहीं? आपको समझाया? हाँ।
मैंने और एक बात, एक जो अभी आपके क्लास दे रहे थे उसमें आपने पढ़ा कि सुपीरियर सेंसेस, प्रभुपाद भी बहुत ही लेक्चर में भी बताते हैं। गोरखपुर में एक बार क्लास देते थे, इतना बढ़िया तगड़ा क्लास दे रहे थे प्रभुपाद जी। कोई अतेंद्रिय कोई कोटेशन करते हैं भगवद गीता से, कोई श्लोक है अतेंद्रिय। वही अतेंद्रिय मतलब कौन सा इंद्रिय है बियॉन्ड जो 6 सेंसेस हमारा है, by which you can enjoy more everlasting।
अरे वो जब तुम प्यूरिफाई होगा तब भी होगा ना, अभी तो स्टेज डिफरेंट है। अभी तो स्टेज जो है ना निम्न स्टेज है। वो इंद्रिय जब होगा जब तुम शुद्ध हो जाएगा बिल्कुल, फ्री फ्रॉम ऑल मटेरियल डिजायर्स, तब वो तुम वहां पहुंच सकता है। पर तुम अभी हम केजी में पढ़ रहे हैं और सोच रहे हैं पीएचडी की, तो कैसे होगा? कौन सा इंद्रिय है वो? उसके लिए पढ़ना पड़ेगा, करना पड़ेगा, अपने कर्मों को देखना पड़ेगा, कितने खराब कर्म मैंने किए। ग्रेजुअली सब भस्म हो सकते हैं। जैसे एक दोहा है, जैसे ये रिकमेंडेशन है नित्यानंद भगवान की और हमारे आचार्यों की, नाम जो है हम लोग नाम वो निष्काम भाव से जपें, कामना न रखें कोई भी, निष्काम भाव से नाम जपें और बिना अपराध के नाम जपें। अगर अपराध युक्त नाम होगा तो फलीभूत नहीं होगा। तो वो कह रहे हैं, जब ही नाम हृदय धर्यो, बोलो,
नाम हृदय धर्यो
भयो पाप को नाश,
भयो पाप को नाश।
जैसे चिंगी आग की,
जैसे चिंगी आग की
पड़ी पुराने घास।
पड़ी पुराने घास।
एक घास का बहुत बड़ा ढेर है, एक आग की चिंगारी इसमें डालो, सारे ढेर को जलाकर राख कर देगी। ऐसे नाम का प्रताप है। जब बुरे कर्म किए हमने तो हम सोचते बड़ी हाई, वो थोड़ा होगा, शुद्धि करनी पड़ेगी पहले। यू आर इन द केजी एंड यू थिंकिंग अ पीएचडी, ये कैसे होगा? पहले केजी से आगे बढ़ना है, केजी से प्राइमरी, सेकेंडरी, ऐसे आगे धीरे धीरे बढ़ना है। वो जो सेंस कौन सी होगी वो उसके लिए अनुभव करना पड़ेगा, आगे बढ़ना पड़ेगा। और ये बताया है कि हमें अपने दुष्कर्मों को देखना चाहिए, मैंने क्या क्या बुरे कर्म किए हैं, और भगवान से प्रार्थना करनी चाहिए कि मुझे शुद्ध करो प्रभु। जैसे मैं कल कहा था, प्रभुपाद कहते थे इसी श्लोक के, शुद्धे न सत्ता, अपनी सत्ता को शुद्ध करना है। वी हैव टू प्यूरिफाई अवर एग्जिस्टेंस। अपना एग्जिस्टेंस कैसे प्योर होगा? भक्ति के द्वारा, तपस्या करने के द्वारा, टू परफॉर्म ऑस्टेरिटी एंड पेनांसेस। और वो अटेन करनी है भक्ति की स्टेज। वो भक्ति की स्टेज जब हो आएगी तो फिर हमको एक एटर्नल हैप्पीनेस मिलेगी, वो ऐसी हैप्पीनेस जो कभी समाप्त नहीं होने वाली। समझाइए आपको राम जी? गोपाल, लाल गोपाल जी, आप समझे? हाँ। तो प्रयास करना हमने। कई बार ऐसा होता है, हम थोड़ा सा कुछ पढ़ लेंगे तो आपने आपको प्रेजेंट करते हैं मैं बहुत ज्ञानी हूं। तो ज्ञानी क्या? ज्ञानी ज्ञानी अभिमानी, जिसको ज्यादा ज्ञान होगा उसको अभिमान आ जाता है। भक्त महाप्रभु ने क्या, महाप्रभु ने ज्यादा ज्ञान दिया ही नहीं, खाली 8 श्लोक बोले। बोला पहले शुद्धि करो अपनी, चेतो दर्पण मार्जनम, बब महादावागनि निर्वापनम, श्रेया केरी व चंद्रिका वितरणम, विद्या बधु जीवनम, आनंदम बुद्धिवर्धनम, प्रतिपदम पूर्णामृता स्वादनम, सर्वात्मा सनापनम, परम जयते श्री कृष्ण संकीर्तनम। Glory to Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleans the heart of all the dust accumulated for years together and extinguish the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge and it increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. पहली बात भगवान ने कहा अपनी शुद्धि करो। अगर शुद्धि नहीं हुई तो बड़ी बड़ी बातें मत करो, शुद्धि में लग जाओ। शुद्धि योगी नाम से सततम तेषम सततम युक्ता नाम, बड़ी युक्ति से भजताम प्रीति पूर्वकम, भगवान को हम प्रेम से उनका भजन करेंगे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम। तो भगवान क्या करेंगे? ददामी बुद्धि योगम, तम वो हमें बुद्धि योग देंगे, अकल देंगे, जिससे हम सारी बातें समझ जाएंगे। समझाए तेरे को नहीं? प्योरिफिकेशन, तपस्या, chanting, following the regulatory principles, one will gradually purify. ऐसे एकदम नहीं प्योरीफाई होगा। ठीक है।
इधर एक कोई सवाल है क्या? प्रभु कहाँ है?
प्रभु प्रसाद बनाने के लिए शायद नहीं है, बहुत सारे क्वेश्चन नहीं है इंटरनेट में।
आगे देखो। क्या नहीं?
Maharaj, bhakti happens through bhakti gives Krishna या tapasya gives Krishna?
इंटररिलेटेड, दोनों इंटररिलेटेड हैं। तपस्या से प्योरिफिकेशन होगी और प्योरिफिकेशन से भक्ति मिलेगी आपको। नहीं समझे?
नहीं समझ गया मैं। I'm thinking that every time we hear that bhakti is superior than anything else.
हाँ, पर वो भक्ति और सुपीरियर पोजीशन मिलेगी पेनांस से, तपस्या करने से, सेंस को कंट्रोल करने से। ऋषिकेना ऋषिकेश सेवनम भक्ति रुचते। कृष्णा इज द मास्टर ऑफ द सेंसेस एंड वी आर सर्वेंट ऑफ द सेंसेस। समझाइए आपको नहीं? तो when we will serve the master of the senses, so धीरे धीरे हमारी भी सेंसेस शुद्ध होना शुरू हो जाएंगी and they will come in our control. Gradually they will come in our control. There is no question आपके austerity उस स्टेज को अपना, जैसे मैंने पढ़ा नहीं, आपने सुना नहीं, इसमें कहा है कि बड़े अच्छे शब्द प्रभुपाद जी ने दिए। क्या कहा उन्होंने? If I can find out that, I will read. Animals like dogs and hogs enjoy sense gratification by eating stool. After undergoing severe hardships, all day human beings are trying to enjoy themselves at night by eating, drinking, having sex, and sleeping. At the same time, they have to properly defend themselves, eating, sleeping, mating. However, this is not human civilization. Human life means voluntarily practicing suffering. समझाइए आपको नहीं? फिर भक्ति होगी. जब आप एंजॉय कर रहे हैं तो फिर द क्वेश्चन ऑफ भक्ति.
Follow एक और question है. अभी मैं.
You follow the first one.
Yeah. Follow-up question is, in this lifetime I cannot become a pure devotee, and I take another life. At that time, what is the relationship that I will have with my guru? My guru, I take initiation now, but I am not perfected. I take another life. So, what would be the relationship with me and the guru and disciple at that time? Guru will be gone, probably to Krishna.
So you are asking about the relationship.
Relationship guru and Shishya.
तो ऐसे वैसे बताया है. एक है मायावाद. You understand मायावाद?
Yes.
Those who believe that Krishna's body is also made of Maya. They also have a guru disciple. They say, कौन गुरु कौन चेला, मैं हूं अकेला. But in spiritual life, Guru's relation goes even after leaving this world. In our Vaishnava life, this Guru-Shish relation will be there even after attaining the salvation, going back home, back to Godhead.
One time, Jayapatha Maharaj was giving class, and someone was asking, Vyas Puja time, someone was asking, Maharaj, how old are you? And Maharaj said, did not give answer. But then one person was saying that how many ever life I take, you have to be my guru. Jayapatha Maharaj disciple said, you have to be my guru. And Maharaj said, I want to go back to Krishna. He was joking, Maharaj, I will go back to Krishna. I can't take again life after life to come back to, I'm just trying to understand, if it is eternal, then is it the same guru who will come again in next life if this person wants to take initiation? I'm just trying to logically, and too much thinking and complexity I think, but please. How does it all work? I'm not able to understand.
ये भाई अभी सोचना पड़ेगा इसके बारे में.
याद दिलाऊं, अब जैसे एक एग्जांपल दे रहे थे बार बार, जे अजगर पाइथन कैसे चिंटी सब खा रहा था उनको, he could not deliver. बल्लभाचार्य जो मुरलीधर वो थोड़ा बताइए, how is related to with his question. जैसे वो कि बोले ना नेक्स्ट लाइफ अगर हम गुरु हमको डिलीवर नहीं कर पाए, नहीं सर शिष्य कारण, सो उनका जो वो स्टोरी थोड़ा.
What can I say about this question? It depends upon person to person. समझाए नहीं? Everybody is not same. Everybody's devotion is not same. Differ. तो अगर कोई बन जाता है pure, तो he definitely, by the mercy of his guru, he will return back home, go to the spiritual world, stay there eternally. Depends. एक ही बात सबके लिए लागू नहीं होगा. किसी की डिवोशन इतनी है, किसी की इतनी है, किसी की इतनी है, किसी की बिल्कुल नीचे है, तो सब सेम नहीं है ना, डिफरेंट है. अभी देखो, जैसे हम कहते हैं नॉलेज जो भी है, तो प्रभुपाद का ही तो नॉलेज है ना, और प्रभुपाद इज बियॉन्ड any doubt, he is the Uttam Adhikari, he is transcendental personality. तो उनकी मर्सी के लिए हमें प्रे करना है. We have to pray for his mercy. Actually, because we are reading his books, so we are connected with him. So he has saved the world. He has fulfill the prophecy of Lord Chaitanya. चैतन्य महाप्रभु की जो प्रोफेसी थी उसको उन्होंने तो ट्रू किया ना। पृथ्वी त्यजु यत्र नगरादि ग्राम सर्वत्र प्रचार होय वो मोर नाम। In all the town and villages my name will be preached. उन्होंने इसको प्रूव किया। तो he is very high class devotee। तो उनकी ओर हम थोड़ा प्रार्थना करें, उनके चरणों में उनसे मतलब ये मांगे कि हम भी प्योर डिवोटी बने उनकी कृपा से। यू गॉट द पॉइंट।
महाराज जी, सो आत्मग्लानि जो होता है कभी कभी किसी चीज के, तो उसको कैसे लेना चाहिए? मतलब किस तरह से किसी चीज पर अगर ग्लानि हो रही है तो उसको किस तरह से मतलब
डिपेंड करता है कि किस चीज के लिए ग्लानि हो रही है। डिपेंड करता है ना।
तो आदमी को अपना महादवाग्नि जो प्रोसेस है, जब क्लींजिंग का प्रोसेस होता है तो उसमें आदमी को डॉट तो दिखता है ना। जैसे कभी कभी लगता है कि कितना हम पूर्व जन्म में कितना पाप किए हैं जो आज हमको इतना कष्ट हो रहा है। मतलब सही चीजों का ग्लानि, जैसे अपने पूर्व जन्म का, चाहे अपने पहले के कर्तव्य का, चाहे जो स्वभाव है। कभी कभी क्या होता है, नहीं चाहते हुए भी दोष है, दोष आ जाता है। जैसे गुस्सा नहीं करना है, चाहे सहनशील बनना है, लेकिन कभी कभी ऐसा आ जाता है जहाँ पे पुराना जो स्वभाव है आदमी का आ जाता है। तो उसके बाद आदमी को थोड़ा सा ग्लानि होता है कि हमको इसमें आत्म संयम का जरूरत था, चाहे हमको धैर्य का जरूरत है। तो ये सब जो सिचुएशन आता है जब कभी गलती हो जाने के बाद ग्लानि होता है, तो उसको किस।
अभी देखो कि जैसे गुस्से का कहा आपने, अभी देखो गुस्से का भी सदुपयोग है। प्रभुपाद एग्जाम्पल देते हैं हनुमान जी का। हनुमान जी को गुस्सा आया रावण पर, सारी लंका फूक दिया उन्होंने उसका। तो हनुमान जी की पूजा ज्यादा होती है, राम जी की कम होती है। हनुमान जी के मंदिर ज्यादा है, राम जी के मंदिर कम है। उन्होंने हर चीज को अपने आराध्य देव राम जी की सेवा में इस्तेमाल किया। इसी प्रकार हम भी हर वस्तु को कृष्ण की सेवा में लगा सकते हैं, गुस्से को भी कृष्ण सेवा में लगा सकते हैं, हर वस्तु को।
मेरे पास एक और सवाल है महाराज जी, सॉरी पूछे। तो महाराज जी, आपका एसोसिएशन में मैंने एक चीज सीखा है, वो है कि जो अग्नि होता है ना, मतलब शुद्धता का जो मतलब होता है ना, मतलब कितना अपने आप को स्टेबल रखना भगवान के भक्ति में, पूरा एकदम फोकस और चारों तरफ पूरा शुद्ध ऑरा। महाराज जी ये बहुत जरूरी है। मेरे को बहुत ज्यादा मतलब मैं प्रभावित हूँ चीज देख के। तो महाराज जी आपका कुछ एडवाइस है हम लोग के लिए? क्या क्या कुछ, कल भी वैसी चीज को मैंने दूसरी तरह से पूछा था, कैसे करने से हम अपने जीवन में थोड़ा सा ज्यादा से ज्यादा मतलब सीरियस हो सके? और
ऐसा है कि हमारे जीवन में जो भी कुछ है, मैं तो ये समझता हूं प्रभुपाद जी का कृपा है। दिस इज माई रियलाइजेशन, सब उनका कृपा है। और ये कृष्ण का कृपा है कि हम उनसे मिले। कल के प्रश्न एक डिवाइन अरेंजमेंट था, आई मेट हिम। कोई मेरे को बुक नहीं दिया, कोई बोला नहीं मुझे, फिर भी हम उनसे मिले। इट वॉज डिवाइन अरेंजमेंट, यू अंडरस्टैंड। ये भगवान का सब प्रबंध था, और उन्होंने ही, उनकी कृपा से हम सब झंझट से निकल सके। और कई ऐसे ऐसे जीवन में हमारे मतलब डिफिकल्टीज आई, उनकी कृपा से ठीक होती गई, प्रभुपाद कृपा। इसलिए जो हमें अनुभव हुआ वही हम दूसरों को बताते हैं। वही हम दूसरों से भी शेयर करते हैं कि प्रभुपाद जी बड़े स्पेशल भक्त हैं भगवान के, वेरी स्पेशल डिवोटी ऑफ कृष्णा। ठीक है,
सर कीर्तन करेंगे क्या महाराज जी की दिनों में?
अभी थोड़ा हमारी एग्जर्शन ज्यादा हो गया है, तो आज तबीयत ठीक नहीं था मेरा, तो सुबह से जो मुझे सर दर्द हो रहा था बड़ा, क्योंकि बड़ा भाग दौड़ बड़ा रहा ना, बॉडी हमारा ओल्ड हो गया अभी ना,
बहुत जगह जाना भी है।
तो एग्जर्शन ज्यादा होने से हेडेक बहुत हो रहा है सुबह से, हेडेक, तो ज्यादा एक्सर्ट करने से थोड़ा ठीक महसूस नहीं हो रहा।
Maharaj, from Vancouver, Manu Prabhu offered his pranam to you. Asked me to convey the pranam to you.
He's from Andhra Pradesh also.
He's from Hyderabad.
Andhra Pradesh.
Andhra Pradesh.
Yeah. You're also from Andhra Pradesh?
Tamil Nadu.
You're from Tamil Nadu. Achha, he's Andhra Pradesh.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Welcome. ठीक है
जी महाराज, थैंक यू सो मच।
हरे कृष्ण, वेलकम वेलकम।
महाराज की जय।